braving the cold and coming. This is a nice sized crowd. I really appreciate you all turning out to discuss public education in Randolph County, North Carolina. I think we all believe that our future is our children and their education. We want to make sure that we're producing good citizens, which is what our education system is supposed to do, and give them a good start in life. So again, thank you for being here. I'm going to, I guess, begin probably by acknowledging, I'd like to acknowledge, I'll call on our special guests, and by special guests I mean our senators and representatives, mayors, superintendents of education, and so on. So I may not call on you by name, and that's a little embarrassing. So I'm going to ask that you stand and be recognized if you would not mind doing that. So to begin with, since our host city is Asheboro, I'd like to recognize Mayor Smith. If you stand.
David Smith, Mayor Asheboro.
David, are there any other city officials or board council members that we need to recognize?
I don't see it.
Okay, thank you. And then our host county is Randolph County, and Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Darrell Fry, is here.
I don't think any of our other commissioners are here either.
But an important member of the organization, the county government organization, is our county manager, Hal Johnson. I want to thank the county and Hal and Mike for helping us get the facility set up tonight and just really giving us a warm welcome here. Even if it's a little cold outside, it's warmer in here and getting warmer by the minute. So we also have school boards, and let's start with the Asheboro City Board of Education. Dr. Worrell, I saw you come in. There you are. Kyle Lamb.
Kyle Lamb is here with us, and Joyce Harrington, and Linda Cranford is here with us.
Great. Welcome all.
And Michael Smith is here. And Beth Knott.
We got Pastor Harper and Tina Barton.
Thank you. And Randolph County Board of Education, I see Dr. Gann, Superintendent. I know Board Chair Todd Cutler had planned to be here. He texted me that he had a conflict and may be able to show up before it's over. But we hope he will be able to join us later. So now I'll I see Dr. Shackelford from RCC is here, and we welcome you also. Thank you for being here. I don't want to leave out the fact that we're very honored to have our legislative delegation here, or most of it. Senator Gunn was not able to make it, but Senator Jerry Tillman, thank you for being here. Representative Hurley, there you are. Representative McNeill, thank you. And at this point, I'll ask if I should recognize any other public officials, members of our county or city or state organizations, governments. Okay.
Bonnie Renfro is not an elected official, but she's here. Chair of our Economic Development.
Yes, indeed. Thank
Bonnie
you.
Renfro.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for being here. NC, Yvonne Brennan, who's the executive director, and Lynn Edmonds, who's also going to be presenting tonight. And the program tonight will be in 3 parts. Can you hear me? I saw a couple of people looking like they might be a little unable to hear. So we're going to begin with a prepared presentation called Connecting the Dots. And we'll let them explain to you more about what that is. But it does have to do with our legislation and its impact on public schools. The second portion of the program, we're inviting our legislative delegation to take turns making their comments. And then the third portion of the program, which will end it, will be questions, answers, and comments by any and all of you who are here. Now, I do know that I see some people who are running for office here, and I'm intentionally not recognizing you at this point in time, but if you want to make a comment, and you're not a campaign speech, this is not a political event in that sense, but if during the course of your question or answer or comment, if you'd like to say that you're running for office X, that would be just fine. But this is a nonpartisan public education event and not a campaign event for anyone. Okay, so a couple of ground rules and we'll get the party started. First, I want to ask that we all display courtesy and respect for each other, and that's basic good manners. When our presenters are presenting their program from Public Schools First NC, we don't want to interrupt the program. It'll go quickly if we don't interrupt it, and that's also common courtesy at the, so let them make their presentation without interruption. And then we go into our legislative delegation's turn. They have their turn. And we also will not interrupt them as they make their comments. At that point, we will then open the floor for questions, answers. You can ask anybody a question and they will answer it hopefully. And you can have discussion, your own comments. If you want to tell us what you think, that will be the time to do it. I do ask that all behavior be polite, civil. I don't expect anyone not to do that, but no disrespect will be tolerated. If anyone makes comments that I think are disrespectful to anyone else in this room, I will ask you to leave. So just be aware of that. I don't expect anything like that to happen, but I felt it was important to say. With all that, I will once again thank Randolph County for making this wonderful facility available to us. And I'll ask our first presenters, Lynn, will get started. And I think she has a helper that's coming. We'll see.
Thank you for having us tonight. We are eager to go wherever we're invited across the state. We have a small staff, but we're happy to be here and we're happy to make this trip from Raleigh. So I'm going to spend less than 15 minutes going over some general where we are, items on the slideshow, and then we're going to shift into legislation that occurred in 2015 that was of significance and what we're looking for upcoming in 2016 in the session starting in April. So, yeah. And I have to peek to see where we are. Okay, so these are the dots that we need to be connecting for folks when we talk to them about public education in North Carolina. We've got funding, the teaching profession, A through F school grades, charters, poverty, and vouchers. And all of these factors are connected in the efforts to privatize our school system in North Carolina. So we're going to start with funding. This chart compares where we were in 2008-09 to where we are in 2016. And this data is very sobering. Teacher pay went from 25th in the US to 42nd. We used to have teacher career status, sometimes incorrectly referred to as tenure. We used to have supplemental pay for master's degrees. We used to have the nationally recognized Teaching Fellows Program and capped class sizes in grades 4 through 12. And all of those things have gone away. We don't have those anymore. Per pupil spending has dropped even though we have more students. And according to this, just at face value, the overall education budget is more. But when you consider adjust for inflation and consider the fact that we have more students, we are actually spending less on education than we did before the recession. These are some of the highlights from the most recent state budget. We see here the beginning teacher pay was raised, and that's good. It even improved our ranking. So we went to 42nd in the nation, but that's still a long way to go to get us back to the national average where we used to be. Last year, our most experienced teachers continue to be ignored and in getting significant pay increases. Last year, all state employees received a $750 bonus, but those are taxed at a higher rate and don't count toward retirement benefits. So we have not seen that lawmakers appreciate our most experienced teachers. TA positions were cut over the last 2 years, and I'm sure you'll remember that we almost lost all TA funding last summer, but they eventually left that in the budget. Driver's education was another item that was threatened with total elimination. That was saved. There were cuts in transportation funds, and we are happy and applaud the reduction in class size for first grade, but we do believe that class size is important at all grade levels, especially K through 5. And then there's vouchers. The increase in voucher funding is alarming. It went up over $17 million this year and will go up to almost $25 million next year. That is a 129% increase since the program began. Textbook funding was increased, but we still, are spending half of what we spent before the recession. Connectivity funds were added. That will increase significantly this year. Read to Achieve, which is the legislation passed a couple of years ago that requires all third graders to be on grade level. We see an investment of $20 million for first and second grade summer reading camps to help meet that requirement. Approximately $900,000 was added to expand EVOS, which is also related to Read to Achieve. Money was added for a principal preparation program. And finally, DPI received a $2.5 million cut in recurring funds. Here's a little more detail on some of those funding items, per pupil funding. We are now 46th in the nation in per pupil spending. We came up slightly from 47th, but again, that's not where we need to be. You see here that we're currently spending a little over $5,700 per student. And in 2008, 2009, we were spending about the same. So in 8 years, we have seen very little movement in that budget item. You also see that we have 61,000 more students than we did in 08-09. So when you take that into account, some analysis shows we are actually spending about $500 less per student than we did before the recession. And I just heard a number this morning that said it was closer to $850 less. You saw most of this on the previous slides, but here it is grouped together to show the negative impact on the teaching profession. If you look at the number of teaching positions, we have lost over 5,000. We've lost 272 support personnel positions. Those would be our psychologists, our school social workers, and our school counselors. And again,